I am continuing my manga journey today with FULLMETAL ALCHEMIST. That's up today. I'm gonna do some drawing. Obviously, this is my new theme now. I talk about books and I draw stuff. That's what I do. Why? Well, because I'm a comic artist and that's just what we kind of do. We sort of live in this world. So that's what I'm doing. But before I really get into it, I want to say a huge thank you to everybody in the last video who was commenting in the comments section, lit it up with book suggestions and all this kind of stuff. So cool. My reading list is now just massive. It's huge. I love it. Thank you so much. There were so many great suggestions and it's just really cool to know what you guys are into, to see people suggest stuff. I even, there was somebody who mentioned that they read Peter Pan because of my video on Regis Loisel's Peter Pan book. Fantastic. That's what the whole thing is about, just like spreading the word. Instead of complaining about what's out there or what's being ruined and blah, blah, blah. No, talk about what's good. Stuff like FULLMETAL ALCHEMIST. This is good. I loved it. I'm continuing my manga journey and it was FULLMETAL ALCHEMIST that was next up. I dug it. It's younger audiences. It's, I would say, 12 to 16, something like that. If you're in that age group, you'd probably dig this. The humor's a little bit weird. As a Westerner, I read it. I don't totally get the humor. Why? I'm not Japanese, right? There's kind of a thing that's a bit odd to me. I still appreciate the whimsy that's in this book. On one hand, it appears to be this lighthearted, goofy, comical sort of story, but at the same time, there's a darkness to it and a violence to it that I appreciate. So the basic premise of the story is you've got two brothers, Alphonse and Edward, and the father's missing. We don't know where he is. Maybe he comes back later on in the series. I don't know. I haven't read the entire thing. The mother has died. And so one of the brothers decides to use alchemy to bring back his mother from the dead. But because of the law of equivalent exchange in alchemy that exists within this series, there's this principle that you can't violate. What you put in versus what you take out has to balance. Because of this law of equivalent exchange, one of the brothers loses an arm and a leg, and then the other brother, his body is completely dissolved into nothing, and his soul is then placed into a suit of armor. So he's in this metal robot outfit, and the other brother gets a metal arm and a metal leg, and they become state alchemists as they travel throughout the lands, hunting for the Philosopher's Stone, where if they find it, they'll be able to restore their bodies and make themselves whole again. There's a really fun comical spin on sort of esoteric ideas like homunculi, transmutation, alchemy itself. Out there ideas, I think, are stimulating for an older reader if you're 15, 16. Broad stroke genre description would probably be fantasy, action, adventure, but at the same time, it's got a lot of steampunk in it too. It just goes with the territory when you've got people with metal limbs and stuff like this, so it's a fusion of those things. With this, you're also getting a certain amount of political complexity that you probably aren't expecting from this kind of material. But the two kids who are the state alchemists, they work for the military of this sort of top-down government for the Führer. And within this, you have this odd dictatorship that they live under. It's quite interesting. And then the other lands around them are kind of feudal, more feudal in nature or clan-like and this kind of thing. So there's an interesting layer to it with this political complexity as well. So you've got playing with spiritual ideas and also playing with political ideas under the guise of a kooky comedy action adventure, which is pretty dope. It's pretty cool. 10-year-old me would totally love this. And it would hook me in with the action adventure type stuff, the violence, all that cool stuff. It'd hook me in with that. But as I got older and kept reading the series, what would actually get the hooks in deeper is sort of the complexity that's under the surface. You start reading it when you're 9 years old, and then you continue reading it when you're 13, 14, 15, and then there's this whole other layer under there that you might not have truly appreciated at 9, but it's there. So it's not for everybody. It's probably not for somebody my age, unless you're somebody my age who can still read young adult stuff and get a kick out of it, which I can because I'm not dead inside. Yeah, give it a go. It's pretty cool. And if you've got kids between 9 and 13 or something like that, and you're not a weirdo and you can hear words like alchemy and you don't spiral, check it out. It's pretty fun. So the writing's good, the art's cool. One thing I like about the art is that once in a while when a character is expressing a certain emotion or there's some kind of humor going on, the art will pop into this really wild out there style to get that across. And it's kind of like, whew, for me, it's like, what? But I kind of love it because it's not something that I'm used to seeing. I dig it. It rattles my brain a little bit. It's fun to see. I don't totally get it, but you know what? I don't have to. I could see how some people, they would just like, the eyebrows would go up and it would be like, what the heck? But it's just cultural differences. It's stylistic choices. It's this kind of thing. Not everything is going to be presented on a plate the way that you're expecting it because you're reading stuff done by people who are from another place. You know, it's going to be different, but that's a good thing. Embrace it. Yeah, FULLMETAL ALCHEMIST. It's awesome. I checked out the cartoon series. There's 2 different cartoon series that I watched. I like the newer one. I forget what it's called. Brotherhood, maybe? I thought that was cool. Just the animation was better. Cool. Just cool action scenes and this kind of stuff. The voice acting I thought was really good too. Really liked it. So again, haven't watched the whole thing. I'm not an expert on FULLMETAL ALCHEMIST. I'm just a guy who's read some of this stuff who wants more people to read manga because comics rule. So read some manga. If one of you guys wants this drawing that I did for this video, hit me up on Instagram. I'm digging manga, man. What can I say? I can't help it. I love it. You should be reading more comics, reading more manga. It's good stuff. You got kids, bam, there you go. When they're done with Dogman, get them on this. All right, cheers guys. Well, get them on Silverwing. We'll talk about that later, eventually. Okay, bye.